Yeah.
Okay, we're back with the second half of Dear Miss Laura, right here on WOBU 95.9 FM, a BBC Community Radio. A shout out to our manager, Jay. So I gotta say, Jay, the gospel kid, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to allow me to be on the show and to do what I do as an advocate of domestic violence. And last week, if you were listening to the show, we were talking about restraining orders, talking about some safety planning and everything. So tune in next time we're on, and bring your pencil and paper, because we got a lot of information to give you out there. But today our guest, it was already talked about, have his life. This is great. And we're gonna pick up with the rest of what Billy Sharp is doing here in Cleveland, Ohio. Billy. My gosh, man, I tell you, I can see mayor, then after mayor, maybe president Sharp. After someone else, president.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really haven't given a lot of thought to that. I think the position I'm in now, with the influence on local McDonald's franchise and being able to do the community work there, then with black environmental leaders being able to do that work there, and then the work that I do with the Civilian Police Review Board, I think I'm way more effective if I would have. I actually tried to run for state rep, if you remember that.
Yes.
I think I'm way more effective in this particular position than I would have been in elected office.
Okay, got you. Wow. So what the police commission?
No.
Board?
Civilian Police Review Board, two different things. So there is the Police Commission,
right,
which is another entity. There is the Civilian Police Review Board, of which I am the chair, and Mr. Brown is the vice chair. There are 9 members. We meet every second Tuesday of the month, and we adjudicate cases. Let's say you got pulled over by an officer and you believe the officer was rude to you or wrote the ticket illegitimately, but you would file a complaint with the Office of Professional Standards. We have an investigator that will investigate your case, interviews the police officer, any evidence that's available, wearable camera system, we call it WCS, any cameras that were in the area where the incident occurred, any evidence that you might have, and they put together a report. And at that meeting on the second Tuesday, which we have one next week, 9 a.m. City Hall, room 514, we review the case, and the complainant is allowed to come and testify to their case. We do have a public comment portion, and the 9 members listen to the evidence of the case. We have to go by the facts and the facts only, and we decide whether or not the officer was guilty of the offense. If they were, then we sustain the accusation, and we give them a group level, 1 to 3, 3 being the highest, and then we send it off to the police chief.
Wow. So you actually get some cases heard though. Because I heard the police commission, they argue too much, so I don't know, they get enough done over there. But anyway, at least you guys more effective. That's good to know.
We just I have a great set of board members who are about doing the work, and it's a lot. It is a lot of work when you think about what you sign on for, because we do have to review cases. We get cases with evidence 15 days before we go into hearings, and it's a lot of WCS. Those tapes can be 30 minutes long, can be longer than that. We have to read witness statements and all of that, so it takes a while. And we're up to maybe 20 cases or more per session.
Wow.
I know last year we had a huge backlog, so we did 2 sessions for 3 months to get rid of the backlog, and we got rid of the backlog. We got to do that some this year, not as long though. So I will tell you, we go into winter months for December, January, and February, where we just do the meetings virtually. You don't come down to City Hall. We just figure it may snow or whatever, we want to put people's safety at risk.
Gotcha. That is awesome. Now, what made you get into that line?
So I had did some work with Yvonne Pointer, and some other organizations during the pandemic. So if you remember, during the pandemic, we had that civil unrest downtown.
Right.
And so it was apparent to me that there was a break in the relationship between police officer and citizen.
Yeah.
So Dr. Pointer, Hope Haven, and some other groups, I think I was with McDonald's at that point too, had a pancake event where it was police and pastor.
Yeah.
And so we started with that event, have a conversation with police and pastor, just to get, officer, what's your concerns, pastors, as you represent the community, what are your concerns? So we started that conversation. We did that down at Chicago Chicken and Waffles when they were there. And then we did it again at Quicken Loans Arena. So that was where it started for me. And I thought, the opportunity came to join the Civilian Review Board. And I said, okay, this will further that work, where we can kind of patch up that relationship. So we go over and beyond. We just honored the fallen officer in Police District 3, I think it was. So we went there and paid honor to that officer with the officers that he worked with. We have a public relations team that we send out to ward club meetings, to festivals, anything you can think of to make sure people know what the Office of Professional Standards is there for and why we have the Civilian Police Review Board.
Right.
Because most don't know, as you alluded to earlier, most don't know the difference between the Review Board and the Commission.
Exactly.
So there's some work that we need to do to get the message out. Some people don't even know that you can complain when you feel like an officer has wronged you. Some people don't know, so we're trying to get that information out.
You're right. They don't know who to go to file that complaint or anything. So yeah.
So you can now get us on the city's website. You're looking for the Office of Professional Standards or the Civilian Police Review Board. On our website with the City of Cleveland, Instagram, Facebook, and X.
Oh wow! On all the platforms. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. So now what else is lined up?
That is it. I think I added 2 more things that I probably shouldn't have added. I have a radio show on Sundays with the great Art McCoy on 1490 WERE. And I just started school back.
Oh, you back in school?
Yeah, so I'm going for a human resource management bachelor's degree.
Wow, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so I kind of really.
Wait a minute, you got more on your plate now.
I really loaded it down.
Ooh.
But again, time management. Okay. That's for me, the online setting for school is best, just because I just don't have the attention span to sit in a classroom for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't. I think that was one thing with education, as I was going through, was it was a cookie cutter situation. I always said the educational system wasn't ready for me. And so early on I was diagnosed with a learning disability and was put in special education for a long time. And that's a stigma that you carry with you as a kid. And we have kids now that deal with that. Most of the kids that I mentor deal with that in some form or fashion, and we have honest conversations about it, because it is something that you deal with and can hamper you from being successful. So I think I was lucky to realize that I had the issue, number one, and then I had to figure out ways to work educational wise to work around it. And it can be hard if you don't have help. And you kind of really don't want to talk about that with people, but I was able to talk to my teachers, and they, let me know that I wasn't the only one, because you can't think, you're the only one with that issue, but you're not.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not. A lot of well-to-do people have learning disabilities.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
ADHD, everything you think of. So
but it's just important to realize that you have the issue, and then begin to do the work to make it fit into the way that you're going to learn.
Exactly. Oh, that's wonderful, man. I'm so proud of you. Wow, you have covered a lot and still going strong. So, I'll be sending my prayers out
I'll say this lastly because I want to thank you in a minute. So I have the Billy Sharp Omni Media Communications Network. That network is Instagram, TikTok, the Calling Post, 1490 WERE, Facebook, X, and I talked about YouTube. So that's how you can get the content on all the stuff that I do, upcoming dates. We actually on Facebook Live, we always air a event. We did the parade, the 11th Congressional Parade on this past Monday for Labor Day. So you can catch everything there, or you can catch it on the YouTube channel. So I wanted to say thank you to Laura Cowan. Just being a great mentor, a great friend, let me know early on when I tried to dip my toe into politics, there's levels to this, and hooking me up with the right people to carry me in that field, because it wasn't really your field of politics, but you knew enough to know people, say, hey, go be with that person or go learn from that person. I really, really appreciate that. So you planted that seed, and now you're beginning to see the fruits of that seed that you planted, which now is like 15 years ago. It's not long.
Isn't that something?
Just flies by.
I can't believe that.
I can remember us traveling in the same car. At one point, I didn't have a car, and I had to catch a ride with you, vice versa.
Right.
Just picking you up and drop you off. So we've been through a lot. It's been a long journey. We've done domestic violence events together.
That's right.
We did one down at the Free Seal.
The Free Seal.
Peaches was there, so she spoke, and I had you speak.
Give me a proclamation.
Yeah. So we've done some stuff. Over the years, I think it was good work, and there is obviously, as you know, more work to do.
When I pointed you towards the Urban League, I said, "Hey, check out Marsha Markavy." And then boom, next thing I know, you over the hill, you over this. Like, wait a minute.
And that was a job. Shout out to Patricia Triggs, who was then the guild president. When I walked in that room, I got with Yvonne Conwell, and she was a member of the guild, and so we started working together, and I went to a guild meeting at the office on Prospect, and I walked in, I said, that is not a position I want. And Pat Triggs was the president at that time, and lo and behold, I think it was maybe a year and a half later. So God works in mysterious ways.
Doesn't he though? Doesn't he?
And it's some of the greatest work I have ever done. Shout out to Marsha Markavy, the president and CEO over there, and Sharon, her assistant. Great team. What it taught me, I was a person that sort of ran my own wheelhouse and didn't have to do things in a system. And the Urban League, Marsha Markavy will teach you it's not that. And they have a system and a flow, and you got to get with that system and flow, or it's not gonna work. And so I did that, and it made me better. It made me better in the way that I attack programs, made me pay more attention to detail. So I greatly appreciate that time down at the Urban League.
That's what it's all about. I told Art McCoy that years ago. I said, all right, you got to pass the torch to somebody. 83, you can't keep doing this forever.
Why do people keep saying that? I don't see that. Somebody else said, well, I think he's passing the torch. I said, no, I don't think that. Our plans don't retire anytime soon. I'm just there to help out. I started that by coming on, just doing community announcements about, whatever crazy thing I was doing, book bags or Toys for Tots or whatever, and I would just call in, and then like recently last year he was like, why don't you come and co-host? I said, okay. I did that for a minute. Then he said, well, I can't make it this week, why don't you just host and get some people to come on or whatever, and I did that, and now here we are. That's what it's about.
Just coming up the ranks, that's all. And the old timers like me and Khaled and all the rest of us, we should just be advisors at this point.
Well, you guys have made such a path that you have a blueprint. If anybody's willing to pay attention, it's how you do it the right way and be really impactful over decades. Not just for a moment, like they like it now. I mean, impactful over decades. I can remember Khaled back when I was at Audubon. And I mean, he was really with the gangs and all of that stuff. That was not delved in, so I wasn't really under him in that way, but I could see his work from afar.
Yeah.
Art the same way. Man, marching every flashpoint, he was there. So I mean, you guys have put in the work.
Yeah.
I don't suggest that you stop.
Yeah.
Unless you absolutely have to, because the work is great, and I do interviews for McDonald's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is coming through the door, we should be concerned. We should be concerned. I mean, the basic how you go to an interview is just being lost, and it's really, really sad. And I think if I wasn't on the other side of that counter or the other side of that interview table, our kids wouldn't even have a chance.
Good
grief. Just interesting story. I had a parent come in. She had brought her 2 kids to interview. One had shorts on. The girl had something on that wasn't interview ready. And I told him, I said, well, I'm going to reschedule you for next week. When you come back next week, I want you to come dressed for an interview. And so the mother stood up and said, well, if I bring him back dressed properly, will you interview him? I said, absolutely, I'll be here for her.
Right.
So she brought them both back, dressed properly for an interview. Both of them did really well in the interview, and I hired both of them. But after I finished, I told them, I said, okay, tell your mother to come here for a minute. I just wanted to talk to the mother by herself. And before I could even get a word out, she said, I'm so glad that you did that. She said, because I've been trying to tell him that you cannot go to an interview dressed any kind of way.
Right. And
she said, they told her, well, it's just McDonald's. We don't have to. She said, okay, all right. Her attempt was to just teach them, unless she really intended them probably for them not to get hired, to then tell them, see, if you'd have went dressed properly, you'd get hired.
You would have got it.
But I told her, I said, well, I'm glad you did that, because I wanted you to know that's why I was sending them back home, to give them a fighting chance, because a teacher told me in high school, you have to go dress properly for an interview. Take a resume, even if it has nothing on it, and coming out of high school, your resume not gonna have anything on it. But I did that. She said, make sure your fingernails are clean and all that. And every job I went to coming out of high school, I got hired on the spot.
There you go.
Just because I was more prepared than the next person. So
it's the basic eye contact they can't even do.
The basics. And it's like there almost is no home structure where this type of stuff, the basic stuff, is being taught. I know now that they don't teach that in school anymore. They don't even teach them cursive writing anymore. So at the end of the application, when you ask them to sign the application, you want me to print it, or I want you to sign it. Some of them don't even know how to write in cursive.
That is sad.
Because they stopped teaching cursive, I think 10 years ago. They took it. If not longer, it's probably longer now than that. I was like, wow. So how do you sign a rental agreement? You have to sign it. You can't.
Every check, anything.
Yeah, when you get into the real world, you have to sign that. I can't think of for the life of me in school why they would take that away, and that is a vital skill. But inner city school system, because they definitely wouldn't have that in the suburbs.
When they took that away, and they took wood shop away, and home ec away, and they started messing with music, and make you pay for sports. This is like school. Come on, this was the basic training. Was school.
And it's funny you say that. My first introduction really to politics, my coach, Michael Bailey, took me down to the Board of Education. This was back when they were cutting back on track and field and sports. And we testified in front of the Board of Education. And I've seen a guy, people don't think this is crazy, the guy down there, his name was Gerald Henley. And he was not a board member at that time, but he could get down there and had his facts together. I paid attention to his detail, not to just the incendiary stuff that was sometimes coming out of his mouth, but he made sense. He made sense, and he was always advocating for people. Now, years later, Gerald Henley did actually make it onto the school board. But that lit a spark into me. And I didn't know at that time that Gerald Henley was a Republican, and I was probably going to be something else. But it just his passion for the cause that he was fighting for was really, really impressive. Really, and he stayed after it, and he actually eventually got elected to the Cleveland School Board. That's back then when we elected our school board.
Right. Yeah. Look at that.
But you never know, as you talked about wood shop and other things. My track coach, Michael Bailey, was a wood shop teacher. Had he not been in wood, I may have never even met him, because that's how I got on the track team. I went to his class, and he said he was a track coach, and so I said I need something else to graduate, and to do sports back then you had to have a certain grade average. So I needed something to motivate me to keep the grade average, and that's what I did. I ran track, indoor, outdoor, and cross country.
Man, I tell you, woo.
Yeah.
School is the basic. So
Yeah.
your teacher is like your other mother.
Yes. Yes.
So,
or father, or
father,
or uncle. 'Cause I remember, what's her name? Miss Junior. She was the assistant principal in West State High School. I loved her to death. Cause I was my first year. Now remember, I told you I know everything.
Right.
So my first year, we're in the lunchroom. She's giving out some direction about something. She kept saying, "You need your monies in by a certain time."
Mm-hmm.
So the paper that we supposed to turn in, I wrote on there, "It's money, not monies." Oh my God, why did I do that? I don't know how she got the message to me. Either she sent it to my classroom or something. She said, "It is money," and sent me the definition of money. I said, "Oh my God." But that's how I met Miss Junior, and I loved her ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Look at that. There you go, people. I know y'all got some school history stories that you could tell, but that was amazing.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, that
I like
comes
that.
to me thinking I know everything. So I was gonna correct the assistant principal, and she got me.
Booyah.
Yes, she did. We were cool ever since after that.
Billy, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you. And we're going to end right now, people, with Dear Miss Laura. And like I said, we air every Monday at 1 p.m. right here on WOBU 95.9 FM. And if you're not at the radio at the time, you can also go to your laptop, your phone, your PC, and just go to the website, www.wobu.org, and click on Listen Live and hear the show. So we're going to sign out right now with an encouraging word from Billy Sharp.
An encouraging word. Put the work in. Anything that you want to do, you have to put the work in. Research it. Look to people who've done it before. Try to surround yourself with people who are doing it. Those are the people you're going to learn best from. Try to get away from people who are not doing it. Everything I say must lead in the same direction. So even if it doesn't seem like it, in your mind it has to make sense. If you're doing a certain task or volunteering somewhere, make it make sense. Mm-hmm. So plan it out and definitely put the work in.
And find a mentor. He's right here in front of you. If you need him, you know how to reach him. He's on every platform out there. And if you see him out there in the street, go up to him and give him a hug and say, "You're Billy Sharp, aren't you?"
Oh, okay.
Watch the lines form. Thank you, people, for tuning in to Dear Miss Laura, and we will see you again next week. Take care and God bless you, Billy Sharp.
Thank you.